just because he said a couple guys saw it. Jordan Frederick just in a drill in there got kind of cleated. Nothing. I've actually got they said the X-rays came back negative already, so probably just a contusion on his calf. We're able to get a couple guys out there today with staff with roster change, so we were able to bring in Ike Williams and bring him in at wide receiver, so he'll start the acclimatization. And then who else did we bring in? Jake Rademacher is a freshman, joined us as well. So those two guys replaced two injured guys that are going out. I think the part that I enjoyed tonight, we went, as you guys saw this morning, half packs, kind of flipped it, went half pack in the morning, went full pads in the evening, thought it would be cooler, just get a little bit more productive practice. We practiced goal line tonight for the first time at camp, so we'll be able to scrimmage that on Saturday. And overall, I was just pretty happy with the way guys flew around.
Can Williams pick up where he left off in the spring, or is it?
Well, you'd hope so. Obviously, he's a guy that has shown some ability in the past. I think another two, Reggie Love really had a big night tonight, so it was good to see him step forward as well. So, and then I tell you what, Manessa Garner's probably put together two of his better days, I think. So to see those guys, and now with the addition, the one thing that jumps out to you, kind of when you guys probably saw it, Monty's naturally fast, but those guys that come in with fresh legs right now, they really stand out how fast they move.
How much does Everderis need to lead that group, whether it's by example or pulling guys aside?
He's trying, Jeff, and it's a big group to work with. Every guy's kind of got their own set of problems. The only guy that's really maintained consistently everything that you need to do to win is Abby, and everybody's kind of got their own little set of issues. I mean, you just go across the board. Manessa's been here a while. You hope someday it jumps into him, clicks into him. He's gifted, he's athletic. Probably not the hardest, going hard charging guy all the time. That's what he's got to push himself through. Like this morning, we did a 2-minute, and things wore down. He wore down. You look at A.J. Jordan, who probably might have the biggest arrow pointed up, just where he could get. And there's a routine play here today where he had a nice little hitch route and dropped it. And just that consistency of playing. Had a couple issues lining up, so it's everybody's kind of got to just lock in and realize it can't be a 50-50 thing. It's 100%.
Did Taylor have a setback at all? 'Cause this seems beyond the initial plan of just slowing
No,
down.
no, he was really he was good the whole first week, and now he repped out there today. He had he's had so many hamstring things that if he has any flare up of that, we just kind of back off him and set him down. So I don't know how much I'll scrimmage him on Saturday. I might let him do a little bit. But my plan with him is just to get him to next Monday. 2 weeks of solid, repping. The double days really starts to wear on guys that have had some traditional leg issues.
Have you kind of figured out what you're going to do with Borland yet? I know you had him on the outside today, but you obviously like him, what he's done at the mic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you balance that?
Well, in base defense, he's been exceptional. I've coached a lot of good mics, and he's right up there among the best I've ever seen. And he just, I was standing there the other day with Coach Alvarez, with Coach Backers, and you just see that big jump with mics in their second year who haven't played it, and he's doing that. The reason we showcase him is just as an added pass rusher on third down, and he'd be the first to tell you he wants to be there. A little bit of that depends on how good we can put another mic in the game. Army's in there repping at that spot, who brings a lot to the table as well. And then obviously Vince Beagle, I don't know if I shared, he has a little bit of a foot issue that hopefully he'll be booted up for 2 weeks and be back out there as well. So he's a guy that we were kind of working at that rush spot.
Did Dipple have a foot issue too?
Dip's just got a chronic plantar fascia that just kind of flares up on him for whatever reason. It flared up yesterday, and what we do again with him, we're just trying to get him till Monday, and can really slow down the rep count.
Is it Borland a guy you can throw in as a rusher without a lot of individual work?
Yeah, I mean the individual work he needs is when we start doing games. But his favorite one is where he's just put out there and they tell him to go wherever he wants, and the other guy covers off of him. But there are some, by protections and stuff, you want to be able to slam a guard and pick him and do certain things, and that's what he needs reps on.
Do you like what you've seen from Jordan Frederick at this point?
I do, until today I'm going to be interested to see how quick he can come back. I mean, I know it started swelling up on him right away. Again, it's a bruise, but it's on the calf, it's on the leg, it's on an area that could get sore. So to me, he's probably been one of the more consistent guys other than Abby. I just want him to catch the ball a lot better.
Derek Watt has only been at fullback a couple of days, but there were some things he did in the morning practice that looked good. I'm just curious.
Yeah, Jeff, you're exactly spot on. He's probably taken it that faster than I could ever imagine. I think Thomas Hammock, as you all know, is a hard coach to please at times, and I think he was kind of overwhelmed. It does, there's a lot of carryover. I do think a defensive guy moving to offense has a bigger advantage because he understands, okay, power, I'm blocking that backer. He knows it. He's been the backer. So his knowledge is good. We know his effort is good, but he's able to move and bend. They did pass pro this morning. I'm sure you're watching when I was watching. And that's something that takes some time to develop. And he was pretty natural. Caught the ball in the flat today against our ones. Took it for about 30 yards because he could definitely turn and run after it got in his hand. So I'm excited where he's at in a short amount of time.
About that scrimmage yesterday, Southward had a 3-play stretch. He had 2 open field tackles and a hit in the backfield. Is that what you want out of
Well, it
free
is,
safety?
but there
Free safety?
was a third down where he was standing next to my 3 technique, and then it was 3rd and 8, so that wasn't good either. But I mean, he's coming, and I agree, Tom. There's that play where he covered down the bubble was a burst that you can't believe, and so I mean that's the deal. I mean he's a very talented player. Might be pound for pound the best athlete we have on the team, and he's playing so much better now than he's ever played. But we still need him to keep coming along.
Talk about giving scholarships to Army. And
Oh yeah, just a special night for me being a former walk-on, and last night played a little. We had open mics, so people were coming up, and then I said, well, there's a guy that I want to bring up, and he may not want to say much when he get up here, but welcome our newest scholarship member, and to bring Robbie Burge up was just incredible. He doesn't say much. I'm sure you guys have tried to interview him, and it's not an easy task. So he was good. Went through some other announcement, did some other things, and I kind of did one of those. Oh yeah, and let's also bring up Ethan Armstrong. And I really truly don't think Ethan had expected that one at all, just because he's been a little bit banged up. But I mean, a guy that's bought all into the program. He's our starting Sam backer, and because of some transition, unfortunately, a situation like Jordan Cahoot, although it's terrible for him, it opens up another opportunity for someone else. And that's how those things kind of work.
Those are 2 guys that persevered through different things. Ethan
Huge.
with the injuries, and obviously Robbie took a lot of heat on himself just for some special teams.
Well, and Robbie wasn't coming back. If you want to write a good story, he wasn't coming back. He was quitting after the bowl game. He came in, told me he was going to quit. Everybody told me he was going to quit, and I just kind of wanted to stay after him. So I met with him a couple times, and when Mike came in, Mike sat down and met with him, and really took to heart this summer. His body changed right in front of us, and is playing pretty good football.
Did it have to do with those punt blocks, him wanting to leave?
No, I just think, I think he's getting into the core of his, what he's wanting to study, and just didn't know if it was worth it anymore at this point. And, I kind of assured him that he'd like the situation coming in. I knew he'd get a lot of reps. I thought he'd have a chance to be our starting guard, just based off our numbers and what I saw in his ability, and I think he's really responded well to Mike.
Marcuson said initially when he looked at Havenstein that he liked him, big guy, good move, and it's been a long time since he played football. What's he done this week?
I think he's probably been, to me, the most surprise of the fall camp, especially on the O-line, D-line. Just didn't know where he was going to be. It's been so long since he played, but he jumped right in there. He really had a half of a summer of conditioning just because he wasn't fully cleared until after July 1st. But we had a couple, former players out there today that were in visiting, and they were kind of blown from a couple former offensive linemen. They were blown away with what he was doing, and the Big Ten Network guys went in there the other day. They raved about what he can do. He's just physically has got a lot of tools. Mentally he's pretty locked in.
In some ways he's going to be compared to Josh because
Yeah.
they play the same position. But Josh was a mild-mannered kid. Is
Robbie's a mean kid. Yeah, he's a mean kid. He's definitely knows how to play the game. He plays very, very hard. I think he's got also that little. I'm sure you've interviewed him. He's got a little personality to him. He's got that little something, and for where he's at right now, I mean it's pretty impressive and exciting because I think this might be the first time in my tenure where you have such balance between your 2 tackles. I don't know. I've had obviously some very good offensive tackles, but I don't know if I've had my hands on. Now we'll see when the competition gets going. I don't know if I've ever had two tackles at that level.
Maybe 2010 with Gabe and Ricky on right.
But Gabe was, Gabe was what a senior, and Ricky was a redshirt sophomore starting for the first time. So yeah, I get it, but I think just where he's at, it's you can't see around him. If you're a defensive lineman and you're bull rushing, you cannot see around Robbie. That's a problem. You don't know where the running back is.